Welcome to the Summit Trucking PeopleNet Workflow training. In this video we'll be going over dispatch workflow. When the workflow icon is colorful, that means you have an active or available trip. I'll now press the workflow button. You must first start your workflow trip, so I'll press the start button. This will take us back to the home screen. I will then go back to workflow. Here I can see a list of stops. To view the details of the stop, you select the stop. You can then click on any stop and then hit the details button. Going over the details of this stop from the top to bottom, here we see it's a hook empty trailer. The company ID is SUMCLA. The company name is Summit Trucking, and this is stop 1 of 3. Now we see the trailer is 63001. The freight type is dry van. The company city is Clarksville, Indiana. The zip code is 47129. The address is 1800 Progress Way. The phone number 866-999-7799. Next we see the earliest and latest dates and times, and the temperature range if it was a refrigerated load. We'll also see a reefer mode if it is a refrigerated load. Below that we'll see order and stop reference numbers. That would be where you would see numbers like a pickup number, delivery number. Below that we'll see comments. These are just any comments that dispatch thinks you need to be aware of at this particular company, this order. Below that we'll see directions. We can scroll down here to see more of the directions. You can scroll down using these arrow keys over to the right. The directions are not full trip routing, but directions to the company from the local area. To go back to the workflow, I'll hit the back button so we could view the details of all of our stops. Next we'll go over the arrival. Whenever you arrive at a company, you may be prompted whenever you arrive, and it'll ask you if you've arrived. If it does not prompt you, you can press the arrive button. Either way, if you're automatically prompted or you manually press the arrive button, you'll be prompted with a form to fill out for that stop. The orange fields in the forms are required and must be filled out in order for the form to send. To pull up the keyboard, press the keyboard button and fill in the requested information. So first we'll fill in the trailer. Easiest way to move between fields is to press the tab key, so I'll press tab. Now it's asking if our pre-trip has been completed, so I'll select yes. I'll close the keyboard. The comments are optional, only meant to be filled out if there's something that dispatch needs to be made aware of about that particular stop. Once the form is complete, you can hit send. You can also press the suspend button. The suspend button is for when you don't need to send the form or are not ready to send the form right away, but you need to get away from the form for a few minutes to complete other tasks. We'll press the send button. It'll then give you notification that the message has been sent. Press OK. This will take us back to the inbox, but we want to get back to workflow. So I'll press the home button and go back to workflow. Anytime you fill your form out, you need to go back into workflow and press the depart button. So select the stop and press depart. You'll notice that whenever I go back into workflow, that the stop that we were working on is gone. The easiest way to be sure that you are keeping up with your workflow work is when you're about to leave a location the location that you should be heading to should be at the top of the workflow stops list. So if the stop finish line is the stop that I'm about to travel to, I just want to make sure that it was top on the list in workflow before I left. Now we'll go through the other two stops. Press the Arrive button, and now we see the shipper form. So we'll go over the fields on the shipper form. First we fill in the trailer. Press the tab button. Fill in the weight. Press the tab key. Fill in the pieces. Press the tab key. Fill in the seal. Fill in the BOL number. Now it's asking us if the pre-trip has been completed. We'll select yes. Press the tab key. Here we have optional comments. And below that we have customer feedback. This field is a little different. This field is for you to provide feedback on the customer. If you don't wish to provide feedback, you can select no. If you select yes, it will bring up two additional fields to fill out: the customer rating and additional comments. So in the additional rating, you select a customer rating of 1 to 5, very bad to very good. Close the keyboard and hit send. Again, we'll see a notification that the message has been sent. This again will take us back to messaging, so we'll hit the home button and go back to workflow. Since we just sent in our form, we'll be sure to depart that stop. Again, this takes us back to the home screen, so I'll go back to workflow, and now we'll arrive at our final stop. So if I press the Arrive button, it'll pop up the form we need to fill out. This is the consignee form. The first question is to ask us if the seal is intact, so we'll select yes. Since we don't have the keyboard up, we can use the arrow buttons to switch down to the next field. Shortage or damage reported on the BOL? No. Again, optional comments if there's something dispatch needs to be made aware of about this stop. And below there we have the company feedback again. So if you don't want to provide feedback, you can just say no, and that's the end. So we'll press send. Again, we'll get a notification that a message has been sent. This will take us back to the inbox, so we can press the home button and then go back to workflow. Since we sent the form for this stop, we can go back in and hit depart. Since we departed the final stop, you'll notice that the workflow button will change from colored to gray. This means we are completed with our trip and do not have another available trip. Over a few additional features of the workflow. First, we'll show you how to retrieve a suspended form if you don't want to wait the 2 minutes. So if you press the suspend button on a form, the form goes away for 2 minutes, and after 2 minutes it'll pop back up. But if you don't feel like waiting the 2 minutes, you can go to the inbox, go to the drafts folder, and the suspended form will show in the drafts folder. You can then press the edit button, which will pop the form back up. One other feature that may be needed now and then in the workflow is to end the trip. So if your trip was sent to you by mistake, or the plan changed and you're not going to be doing the trip that was sent to your workflow, you can delete the workflow stops by opening up workflow and then going to trip and then end. It should be noted that this feature should only be used if you are not going to complete the trip. If dispatch is going to send an update to that same trip, do not end the trip. Whenever they send the update, it will update your workflow stops. When you end a workflow trip, the workflow icon will turn from colored to gray. That concludes this video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the other Summit Trucking training videos.